Flush bolts are used on pairs of doors to secure the inactive leaf, projecting into the frame head and into a floor strike. In this application, the active leaf would typically have a lock set, which latches into a strike mounted on the edge of the inactive leaf. The inactive leaf is typically used so that large objects can be moved through an opening. Two types of flush bolts are available: the corner wrap type, designed for wood doors, and the extension rod type traditionally used on hollow metal doors. Corner wrap flush bolts can sometimes weaken the top corner of a wood door because of the volume of material that is removed in preparing the door for the flush bolts. So some specifiers and suppliers use extension rod flush bolts for wood doors as well as hollow metal doors. Flush bolts work in one of three ways: manual, automatic, or constant latching. Manual flush bolts are projected and retracted manually. Because manual bolts do not provide a positive latch and can be left in the retracted position, they are not typically allowed for use on fire doors. One exception is when the pair of fire doors leads into a room that is not normally occupied by humans, like a storage room. Manual flush bolts may be used if allowed by the authority having jurisdiction, the AHJ. An automatic flush bolt is projected when the active leaf closes and depresses a trigger on the edge of the door. When the active leaf is opened, the automatic flush bolt retracts. Constant latching flush bolts are a type of automatic bolt. The bottom bolt is a regular automatic flush bolt, but the top bolt latches when the inactive leaf closes and stays latched until it is retracted manually. Either type may be used on fire door assemblies if egress requirements are met. Automatic and constant latching flush bolts are both available with a top bolt only and a fire pin in place of the bottom bolt. These sets are called LBB, or less bottom bolt. The top bolt functions normally. An automatic bolt is projected by the active leaf, and the constant latching bolt is always latched. But the fire pin remains retracted until there is a fire. When the pin is heated to a certain temperature, it projects into a hole in the edge of the active leaf, securing the doors to compartmentalize the building. The benefit of omitting the bottom bolt is that there is no need for a strike in the floor. A pair of doors with automatic flush bolts must also have a coordinator to ensure the inactive leaf closes first. If both leaves of a pair are opened, the coordinator will hold the active leaf open slightly during its closing cycle. This allows the inactive leaf to close fully and be in the proper position for the active leaf to then close, thus projecting the bolts of the automatic flush bolts. The most common type of coordinator, the bar coordinator, has a trigger and lever mechanism. As long as the inactive leaf trigger is extended, the active leaf lever holds the active leaf slightly open. Once the inactive leaf door closes and depresses the trigger, the active leaf lever retracts inside the coordinator to allow the active door to fully close. When a bar-type coordinator is used, a filler bar is required to extend the coordinator the full width of the door opening. A second type of coordinator, the gravity coordinator, is also available. It mounts on the face of the door frame. Because the gravity coordinator is more visible and more prone to vandalism than the bar coordinator is preferred. Egress is an important consideration when using flush bolts. Manual flush bolts are allowed in limited locations and a means of egress, because the operation required to retract the flush bolts does not meet the egress requirements. When automatic flush bolts are used on a door in a means of egress, no hardware may be installed on the inactive leaf that could confuse building occupants about which door to open for egress. For example, a dummy lever cannot be installed on the egress side of the inactive leaf, making it obvious the active leaf with the lever is the one that can be opened. By the way, Schlage offers an attractive alternative for pairs of doors where flush bolts have traditionally been used on the inactive leaf. Part of the LM9000 series, Schlage's 2-point latch on each leaf makes both doors active. Lever handles retract the latches at the head and at the floor via concealed cables, and the doors operate independently with no need for a coordinator. This product is also available with a latch at the head only. The 2-point latch meets the model code requirements for egress and accessibility and can be used on fire door assemblies. Check the listings for the fire door and the latch to verify the maximum allowable fire rating. To watch more videos, visit our training page at www.allegiant.com/US.